Celebration time. It don't matter what part of the jewel you come from. You da you and me da me. But guess what? All are we the one. See what I mean? Jump and shout all over the nation. We're breaking out with a new creation.
Our Belize Watch team traveled to one of Belize's major attractions, the Hol Chan Marine Reserve, which is located approximately 3 miles off the coast of Ambergris Caye and Caye Caulker. We will have their experience at what is considered the most popular snorkeling spot in Belize after we hear from our partners, the Barry, Shell Belize, the National Gas Company, and Belize Natural Energy Charitable Trust.
We are the Barry, offering you great products, good service, and of course, the lowest prices in the entire country. Visit us in Belize City, Belmopan, San Pedro, Orange, and now in San Pedro, La Isla Bonita. The Barry. Get more? Pay less.
Since 2008, the Belize Natural Energy Charitable Trust has created opportunities for Belizeans to develop themselves and their communities. The trust employs tools that are intuitive, collaborative, and accessible so that every Belizean is empowered to achieve their full potential. Over 200,000 Belizeans have been impacted because of our various initiatives. The Belize Natural Energy Charitable Trust, empowering Belizeans of today to create the Belize of tomorrow.
But what is the National Gas Company really? And how does it acquire transparently priced supplies of liquefied petroleum gas for the people of this country?
First of all, there was a new law written to regulate the National Gas Company. The process starts with open and transparent tendering, where LPG companies, Belizean or foreign, can compete to supply the country of Belize with liquefied petroleum gas. Once the supply agreement has been concluded and delivery details agreed, marine gas carriers arrive to offload well over 1 million gallons of LPG on a single stop. Prior to offloading the ship, LPG is quality checked by an independent fuel auditing third party to ensure that the quality being received is acceptable for use in the country of Belize. With the modern storage infrastructure installed by the National Gas Company, Belize has more than 1.6 million gallons of LPG storage available. This volume provides the country more than the monthly national consumption, thereby providing a crucial buffer in this era of climate change and supply disruptions.
The National Gas Company of Belize, fueling Belize forward.
Shell V-Power, with 3 times more cleaning and friction-reducing molecules. Go well. Go Shell.
It don't matter what part of the jewel you come from.
Okay, we are out on a boat here in San Pedro, just off the beach of San Pedro. Look at the lovely beach that is in front of me. Look at the beauty of La Isla Bonita. And we are heading out to, where are we going?
We are heading out to Hol Chan Marine Reserve.
That's right. I have been there many years ago. It's been a little while since I haven't been to Hol Chan Marine Reserve. You still have a lot of shark and stingrays and...
They have 2 sites. They have the Hol Chan Marine Reserve itself, which is a small channel located right on the barrier itself.
Okay.
It's been protected since 1987. Shark Alley is right next door to it, right? So Shark Alley, keep in mind, the Marine Park, the first spot, Hol Chan, it's a channel. It is a Mayan word meaning narrow channel.
Yes.
So Shark and Ray Alley is a little bit farther than that, like 3 minutes away, right? Still does have a lot of sharks, less rays. The rays migrated off.
All right.
right? But the sharks, they stayed there.
I can remember seeing a whole lot of rays there one time when I visited some years ago. It's been quite some time that I have not visited these sites. But let's introduce who I'm talking to.
Well, my name is Russell Rubio. I'm a tour guide for Action Divers, one of the tour guides here in San Pedro, a local tour guide. Been here all my life, right? Here all my life. I'm born in Dangriga. My mom is from here. My dad's family is from Dangriga. But they were fishermen. That's where they met my mom. So, you know, the dad chased the mom. They ended up in San Pedro. That's how we ended up here all our lives. So, fisherman family, tourism came about, went into being a tour guide. So this was my backyard, and it still is my backyard growing up, right? So we're going to see the reef. We're going to see the entire reef itself. So once you see the reef, once we get closer, I'm going to let you know more about the reef itself, all right?
All right, so you're taking me on this tour right now.
Definitely.
But before we embark on the tour now, let me get into what was San Pedro like when you came to live here as a little boy?
Man, when I was growing up here, it was like a little village. I mean, we didn't have no current, no electricity, small thatch houses, few nice houses that was made from the British, right? But not as big as we see now. But growing up, little village, not a lot of big boats, small boats, you know. For fishermen, it's a fishing village basically. That I know as growing up here, right? So everybody was a fisherman.
You used to fish?
Oh, definitely. When it was, I have 5 brothers, 3 sisters. So when it was Dad's babysitting time, he would take us to the reef, and we would be his backup swimmers, snorkelers, divers, you know. Yeah, we go free diving for lobster, conch, fish, you know. So, and then we still do that. Once the tourism, I mean, now we moved on to tourism, but once the tourism is slow, we go back to our roots, right, which is the same lobstering, conching, and fishing.
So what are your thoughts on that you see this big metropolis, San Pedro, that grew out of this sleepy fishing village? What do you reflect on the most throughout that process?
Oh man, it has a lot of reflecting that, well, the enjoyment part changed a lot. As kids, our little fun thing would be going along the beach, climbing coconut trees, finding sea grapes, you know, going on little styrofoam to the reef, you know. But now, because of the traffic with the boats and the big resorts and thing, the kiddie fun part that I grew up and that I know is not the same anymore, right? But, you know, with development comes different experiences and different fun, right? So, seeing a lot of changes, kind of have to adjust to it, right? But it's still the same to me. It's still the beautiful San Pedro because the people make it that way. Right. The people are still friendly, still happy, and then still find fishermen, you know. And the people, there's a lot of fish there, so it's not like you see big changes. Like me as San Pedro guy here, so the changes with the buildings and all of that, that's okay by us because we're modern way into tourism now, right? So that's all right. But the fishing parts of it have not changed, so it's still like growing up as a kid here. So I still feel like, you know, growing up as a kid, being my backyard and fishing and all of that. So it's pretty cool.
You're working with Action Divers, and we're in a boat owned by Action Divers. Yes. Tell me about Action Divers.
Action Divers, they do pretty much, I mean, we do everything, right? We do snorkeling, diving, fishing, cave tubing, zip lining, the Mayan ruins. And then for divers, like we have somebody who wants to go on a refresher course or you want to learn how to dive, right? We go through those steps with you too. Snorkeling, Roberto Castillo is the owner of Action Divers.
For some reason, I know that guy. Yeah, he's married to my daughter. That's the same guy we're talking about?
I think that's the same guy you're talking about, yes. I didn't want to get to that, so I would leave it up to you. But
well, I have to say it because people will say, how come you say that this man that your son-in-law, right? So I want to thank him for arranging this trip out here with you. Right, first time I'm meeting you, by the way, so let's establish that.
Russell Rubio again, sir.
Yeah, Russell, first time I'm meeting Russell.
Yes, man, I always watch your show, me and my mom, right? So Yes, but well, we do everything. Like for instance, sometimes like yesterday I did a tour. I had this one lady who I've never snorkeled before, claustrophobic with her mask, and scared of everything. But we have a tendency to take our time and have a lot of patience with them because I understand they travel a long way, and my spirit is like, you're not going to travel this far and not do it.
Yeah.
So took me, and we don't take long for them to learn. 5 minutes and they know it all because it's just patience and just teaching them the buoyancy, the movements and everything in the water. Using safety, of course, like life jackets, which we all have in all boats, right? Life jackets to get them comfortable and get them going. She was the happiest lady ever. So action divers, we're named action divers for a reason, full action. Full action.
So you do quite a lot of tours on a daily basis?
Definitely. On a daily basis, we do a lot of tours on a daily basis. Especially like from Thanksgiving, when after this COVID, everybody was a little slow and, 2 years, everybody was put up. Finally, everything's open. And then everybody wanted to escape to the States and find a nice vacation. So they all came here. It was like a crazy rush. I mean, from Thanksgiving, we haven't stopped yet. So, and which is good for everybody and good for the economy and good for, for life. So
where are you taking me today, Mr. Rubio?
Well, I'm going to do the marine park, feed you to the sharks.
You feed me to the sharks?
Yeah.
Well, the last time I came, I jumped over them and they did not eat me.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people they don't understand what kind of shark is there. Let me explain about the sharks a little bit, right? So you don't get scared either. They're bottom type feeder sharks. They're scavengers, right? So they're known to have a powerful suction. They do have small rows of teeth inside their mouth to crunch stuff, right? So powerful suction in nature, their nature, not these ones. These ones are used to us feeding them, so they're kind of lazy, right? But their nature would be just going around like a conch. It's hard to take out of a shell if I give one to you with your bare hands, but these guys suck the conch out of the shell. That's how strong they have that suction, right? And, scavenge for if they see a carcasses, dead fish or whatever, that's what they pretty much clean up the reef, I would say,
These are the nurse sharks, right?
Nurse sharks, yeah. Once in a while, we do get the hammerheads and the bull shark comes inside the reef. Right now, there's a lot of spotted eaglery around because of the spawning reasons, right? So we do get them in here, but we have never have a problem with them because the water is crystal clear, right? So they come in, but they come in and out. They're scared of humans, the bull sharks and the hammerhead. They come in, they grab a stingray, they leave.
But those sharks are really dangerous if you meet them in their thing, right?
Not necessarily because here we have spear fishermen. Even me, my brothers and them, we go outside spear fishing. Of course, if we see a bull shark, if he's in the vicinity, he would come around. Yeah, he would come after you if you have a big fish. Exactly. And then
he wants your fish.
Yeah, that's why he's called a bull shark. He's a bully. So we just give him the fish, and then he leaves. He go on his merry way.
But it's at your own peril.
Yeah. Exactly. You just give him a fish, and then either he leaves or he's like, oh, he's feeding me, so he'll follow you all the way. So your spear fishing is basically done over. Yeah.
You have to feed him.
Guys, you just spear for him. Yeah. So. But they just go on their merry way once they grab a stingray or something because they're migratory species. They got some residential ones that lives here in different channels, right? And they will be up and down in the channels, comes in, grab a stingray once in a while. Or if you're doing deep sea fishing, you're pulling up a nice big fish, and then bam, sharks come, grabs it, you end up with half, with just the head. So it's a half, 50-50 situation there, win-win.
I've seen that before. I've seen that before. I remember once I was fishing, deep sea fishing, and I caught what I thought was a very big fish. And all of a sudden I just felt when something tugged at the line while I was bringing it up, and all I brought up was the fish head.
Exactly, that's what happens. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. So that's exactly what happens. But once you get the sense, people don't. I meet people, tourists all the time, and then they have the sense that all these things are dangerous. But I always tell people, they got cats and dogs as pets. Me growing up here, my pets are these sharks, these stingrays, and get an understanding of the fish, right?
Yeah, so the sharks are your pets, basically.
Yes, and then once you get an understanding of them, right? you look at a shark because, people, okay, let me compare it with people who live in a village. They've never seen sharks. They've heard about sharks. And when they come out here, once we give them an understanding and let them see how we understand the sharks, we basically explain to them, they're harmless creatures. We feed them, and then we show them, for instance, where we're going at Shark Alley. You will see them, and then we jump in, and they're friends. They don't come, they don't bother us.
You don't have any great whites in Belize anyway. Those are really the dangerous sharks, right?
Great white tourists, maybe, but no, but those ones are far in the farther deep water, Mexico, Gulf of Mexico. Yeah, we don't have them here. No, not those types.
So, what can you recall of Hol Chan Marine Reserve, and how many visitors would you take there on a daily basis?
Personally, me on a daily basis, it requires 8 person per tour guide, right? But you have a big boat. I've been taking 15, 16 with two tour guides. So basically, once the boat can fit 16. Now, if you times that times something like this, especially this Easter, you would have 30 to 35 boats at one time. So on a daily basis, you have few hundred people that visit that area. And in an annual time, at least over 1 million.
Well, I guess we have to clarify here that action divers is more than just taking you to Hol Chan. They can also teach you to dive as well, do you?
They do also teach you to dive. Okay, coming back to the marine park, Hol Chan is not only for snorkeling, it's for divers, first-time divers, refreshing diving, discover scuba. If you just want to discover it, so they would take you to that spot because it's 30 feet maximum depth. So 30 feet does not put you in danger if you would be 60 to 90 feet, because at that 90 you can get different stuff, like the bends and, Yeah, so it does so and supports you for diving there at Hol Chan Marine Park. And yes, man, you will see it.
And one of the things we enjoy heading, we're in a little channel now, right?
There's a channel up here up front. There's a big one, main channel up front. Yeah, that's why you'll see the waves getting a little bigger. Yeah.
One of the things that we enjoy seeing going towards Hol Chan is the shoreline. The shoreline here is fantastic. I've always enjoyed the San Pedro shoreline.
Yeah, well,
when you bring a tourist, you point out to them what is what and different things?
Oh, most definitely, man, most definitely. As you can see, there's lots of new places building up right now, right? Lots of new places, lots of dive shop. And right now, it's because a lot of problems with the receding shoreline, so a lot of new seawalls being developed, which helps, helps with the receding shoreline. But apart from that, everything is nice there. Jump on a kayak, you can work your way all the way to the reef. Nice shallow reef, beautiful water. Bear in mind now, coming to the shoreline, from the shoreline to the reef, maximum depth in the deepest area would be 12 feet. Depends the farther up you go, though. If you go farther north, it gets shallower, right? It's just like 4 feet, 5 feet, some parts. Now,
there's the famous Rocky Point where the reef meets the land.
I was just going to that one.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no. So now, if we come into the coastline and come into the reef, right, and the depth. So once you continue going north, the island has its own shape that goes out. The reef continues in one stretch, and eventually they meet, called Rocky Point, right? And the coral there is all the way on the beach, so it's pretty nice. Now, once you pass Rocky Point, you got to take an exit, the channel. There's one channel there. You exit that channel, you enter into another channel. Now, this another channel takes you to another marine park, right? It's called Bacalar Chico, right? So now, it's a nice, beautiful park too as well. There's a reserve there. There's a Mayan reserve where the Mayans used to do trading with Mexico. So now, coming to the trading, the Mayan dug out a canal that was already half made. They continued dug it out, which separates us from Mexico. So literally, you're in a boat passing through that river. You can touch Mexico and touch Belize, right? So Bacalar Chico, then there's a little museum there that will teach you the history of the trading of the Mayans and how San Pedro came about. Really good place to visit. For students, a lot of students from the mainland, teacher brings them there to educate them about the reef and about the Mayans and about the trading and stuff like that. So very pristine. The Mayan was once trading on San Pedro. Comes a long way too. Comes from piracy days. You know, from the Mayans to piracy. They have found, you know, treasure, buried treasure here, and which would prove, you know, proven fact that pirates used to live on the island, right? So, which became buccaneers afterwards, right? Because when they were done with the piracy, before they stopped hunting them, and then they started working with, and then they became buccaneers. So.
Buccaneers are the kind of meat they used to smoke, no?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's right.
No, San Pedro. You explain all this history when you take your tourists here,
Definitely.
and you take them to all these points that we are talking about.
Definitely, we do all those tours too as well. We do that tour. They're interested. Once, I mean, same thing that I'm just telling you. I explain to them all of that, and then they're interested in it. Then we do the tour for them the next day, and I give them all the highlights about, like, for instance, I just told you about Color Chico. Then I would jump into the Mayan history about that area. Yeah, so we do all these tours, and we explain to every one of them that we go to, it has its own history, and then we would then jump into that history once we go there, right?
San Pedro is really situated on the most southern area, the tip of Ambergris Caye, right? What's the reason you give them for why San Pedro is where it is?
Why it is where it is, meaning that's development?
The southern tip, and not at the northern.
Oh.
Which the northern is much higher land.
It is much higher land, because that's where, like, coming back to where the trading happened, and Mayan was always built on.
That's where the Mayan cities were at the north, but the modern San Pedro is
to be the southern part.
In the southern part, and it's the most swampy and lower part.
It's because the center of town started closer, right? So when the island started developing, that's town, which is, you know, center of town. So everybody started building here, although it is below sea level, and then the reason for that being too, because it's closer. People always say south is farther, which is higher grounds, like you just said. But it is close.
Not is higher ground.
I mean, north is higher, but then this southern part is lowland, but it is accessible for everything else. Like Kikaker is right next door, closer to Belize City, which is you go.
You had the story of the Guerra de Castas in when you're telling them as to why this San Pedro is where it's at.
Oh yeah, definitely.
They were coming from the war across the channel.
Yeah.
The highlands were there, of course, and the old Mayan cities, but they didn't settle there. Yeah. They came. For the founders of modern San Pedro, of today's San Pedro, came way this side and decided, okay, we can't go no further, so let's settle here.
Because even, this part of San Pedro, this southern part of San Pedro, there is also evidence of Mayans living here too. So they were here and...
Mayans were here before.
Yeah, they were here in the northern part and the southern part. But and then the elevation too is below sea level, south swampland and stuff. But
We will be back with much more from the Hol Chan Marine Reserve after we hear from our partners.
The B&E Charitable Trust, working in the development of Belize by inspiring young Belizean entrepreneurs to dream and to dream big. The National Gas Company, fueling Belize forward. The National Gas Company makes sure that you not only have a guaranteed supply of gas for every household need, but also that it is of the highest quality always. Shell Belize has been fueling Belize for many, many years, and they have done so reliably and with a lot of dependability. And the Barry stores in Belize City, Belmopan, San Ignacio, Orange Walk, and San Pedro, offering you much more for much less.
We are the Barry, offering you great products, good service, and of course, the lowest prices in the entire country. Visit us in Belize City, Belmopan, San Caye, Orange Walk, and now in San Pedro, La Isla Bonita. The Barry. Get more? Be less.
Since 2008, the Belize Natural Energy Charitable Trust has created opportunities for Belizeans to develop themselves and their communities. The trust employs tools that are intuitive, collaborative, and accessible so that every Belizean is empowered to achieve their full potential. Over 200,000 Belizeans have been impacted because of our various initiatives. The Belize Natural Energy Charitable Trust, empowering Belizeans of today to create the Belize of tomorrow.
But what is the national gas company really? And how does it acquire transparently priced supplies of liquefied petroleum gas for the people of this country?
First of all, there was a new law written to regulate the national gas company. The process starts with open and transparent tendering, where LPG companies, Belizean or foreign, can compete to supply the country of Belize with liquefied petroleum gas. Once the supply agreement has been concluded and delivery details agreed, marine gas carriers arrive to offload well over 1 million gallons of LPG on a single stop. Prior to offloading the ship, LPG is quality checked by an independent fuel auditing third party to ensure that the quality being received is acceptable for use in the country of Belize. With the modern storage infrastructure installed by the National Gas Company, Belize has more than 1.6 million gallons of LPG storage available. This volume provides the country more than the monthly national consumption, thereby providing a crucial buffer in this era of climate change and supply disruptions.
The National Gas Company of Belize, fueling Belize forward.
Shell V-Power, with 3 times more cleaning and friction-reducing molecules. Go well, go Shell!
It don't matter what part of the jewel they come from.
All right, so right now we are heading towards the Hol Chan Marine Reserve, right? And what year again? Remind me what year it was declared?
1987. That was when the first marine park protected area, which became Hol Chan Marine Reserve, 1987.
Wasn't one of the first in the region, the first declared parks in the region?
First declared park after we got independence in 1981. 6 years later, then Marine Park, yeah. Hol Chan Marine Park. Yeah, first marine park ever, Hol Chan, this region, right, in this region. So people from Belize City and from St. George's Caye, which was where the British were still at, you know, would come to this park up there, and San Pedro too as well.
So we will hold our conversation for a little while and see more to the Hol Chan Marine Reserve, right? Yes, from where we are at. But just to establish where we are steaming from, where are we exactly right now?
We are right in front of Victoria House. Okay. Victoria House, which is one of the first resorts to be south of San Pedro, right? Pretty famous, all renowned around the world.
Yeah, I've been to Victoria House several times. It's a nice spot. It still holds its original flavor, you know, Victoria House.
Yes, you got that right. It still holds that original, and then that one almost be like the mines. If you notice that they elevated the grounds too, because this part is below sea level, so they elevate it and then they build on top of that one. But it's still beautiful though, as we see. Right. Well, let's head out to the marine park and you wanna check it out and see how the reef is.
Captain Roberto Castillo to full steam ahead, right?
Yes, Mr. Roberto, full speed ahead, man. Let's head out and see some sharks and rays and see the marine park, who is all there snorkeling, and tell these guys more about the reef and about the park itself. Okay. All right? Ready, sir? Let's go.
Let's go. All right. Okay, so Russell, we have arrived at Hol Chan, and let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 boats.
And more. That makes us the 15th, I guess. Yeah, so this is the Hol Chan Marine Park. If you notice where the boats are parked at, When we get closer, we will show you. We'll have more visual of it. There's more boats coming too, by the way. So, okay, the narrow channel, like I said earlier, Hol Chan is a Mayan word meaning narrow channel. This is one of the smallest channels. If you notice, there's no other 10 channels coming this way. So coming back to where I said earlier about the fishes would use this to spawn, right? So they would pass through this. This is zone A. It's separated by 4 zones, zone A, B, C, D. A would be the marine park right here. C would be the grassy bottom. D, right behind there, the mangrove swampland. That was zone C. That's where the fishes would pass through this channel to go back there to spawn, work their way underneath the grassy beds, and spend their first life on the reef as juveniles. Some of them adapt and stay on the reef and become residents, which we noticed that a lot of them did at Hol Chan. So studying all of that movements with the fish, we realized, you know what, let's reserve this area. So that's how in 1987 became a reserve. So 30 feet maximum depth. Now the white caps you're seeing on the edge, left and right of Hol Chan, that's the barrier reef itself, 185 miles of it. That's the highest point of the reef crest, right? So that's only like a foot sticking underneath the water. So some parts of the highest point in low tides, you see the coral just pinting outside the water. That's how close it is to the surface. Beyond that, it starts sloping down. To about 300 yards, it goes to a drop-off. There's the drop-off that goes few hundred to thousands of feet. So the divers would dive inside canyons of 90 feet with canopies of coral. So anywhere from 30 to 60 to 90, and then it drops off. Yeah, that's only like.
It must be amazing to see that, right?
Oh man, most definitely. If you're a diver, check out Action Divers, and you go there. It's a world beyond. It's amazing. You will never. It's amazing. You can't explain it in language. Yeah.
How long will it take me to qualify with Action Divers to do that?
Oh, 2 days. 2 days. Then
So I have to take that 2-day course, and then I can do what I can.
2 days. 1 day in the swimming pool to get to so you can understand it. Look at the videos and all that. Then like 3 days max. You know. So and after that, you'll be doing Hol Chan 30 feet. You know, after going over all the laws and the videos and all of that. 3 days, you're a diver, then you can jump outside the reef in 60 feet and check it out how it looks.
Now, we're seeing a lot of people in the water here, and so most of these people in the water are snorkeling, right?
Yes, sir. There are tourists, one of the best destinations for snorkeling. One of the most famous spots, renowned. It's been all over Travel Channel, all over Discovery Channel. It's renowned. So all these guys you're seeing right now, they're all snorkelers. All the sailboats, the catamaran. Some of them are divers though. Remember I told you earlier that you do get certified here, you do get refresher course here, you get introduction here. So some of them are divers, not all snorkelers. So we will see now. If you're looking out there where the water gets blue, so on the right and left of the blue, the water is brown. That is the shallow coral where the reef is breaking. Okay. The blue part is the channel that goes 30 feet deep, right? So narrowest channel that you can see on the reef itself, right? And then there's a park ranger here 24/7, right? Because they protect the marine park from poachers, people who want to catch the marine life and then keep an eye, and then it's required for tour guides to be here, even if you're a local tourist. You have to take a tour guide that knows the area best, because then you'll have people standing on the corals and killing the marine life, and then so we try to protect. This is our future here, so we try to protect it as much as we can. So it's a must, and 24 that you have to have a tour guide that knows the area best, right? All of these boats, they're getting ready and snorkeling and thing. Here you got residential stuff, coming back to residential stuff. We got migratory species. Yeah. Outside the reef, you will find in different times of year, you will find marine life migrates. Like May, June, when you will even got the whale sharks, Yeah, the sperm whales farther out. They migrate to different parts. The southern, they like to migrate to Placentia, right? Now here, migratory species, we have residential ones like turtle. I can tell you, hey, you want to see a turtle? I can guarantee you that because we have at least 4 of them that residents to this marine park, right? Sharks, moray eels, right? And different species, colors, and sizes of fishes as well that are residents to the area. They decided, hey, you know what? And people might think that we're invading their space. We're not. That's one thing we got to understand. We're not invading their space. They are, I mean, you jump in there right now, the fishes won't even acknowledge you because they will know, hey, we're used to these guys, you know?
But you know, I'm in the boat here and I'm seeing the fish in the water. You know, the water is so clear and pristine that you can see the fish. I saw a school of fish just now looking in the water.
Yes, man. And there's some divers in the water too there.
Divers too, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, like coming back, you know, the residential stuff that lives here. And so it's just mostly, it's beautiful. And then it never gets stale and gets old because people, you can come every day. Sometimes I'll be here every day and it's different. I would see manatees, spotted eagle rays, you know, different stuff that passes through and residential ones. It's pretty nice, beautiful. One of the #1 area to snorkel.
Yeah.
Close between San Pedro and Belize. This would be it.
And what we are doing right now is we are going through the channel, no? In the reef.
Yeah, yeah. So right now that we're looking at, you see how it gets deeper down there, it gets darker, right? So that's the 30 feet max that I mentioned. Left or right, the brown is the marine, is the coral. You can see some sticking out, see? So that means it's going on low tide right now, right? So, and these are all natural channels, right? All natural channels.
They're not man-made.
None of them are man-made. It's a cycle of the breathing area for, it has to do with the marine life. It has to do with nature. Mother Nature has its own way of, you know, providing for itself, right? So there's currents at times, especially when the tide is changing. There's current that's going out, currents that's coming in. And that comes right back to where I say I have to take somebody that knows the area best.
Yeah.
Because you can get into trouble if you don't know and then you're going by yourself, right? So this is right here. Some divers would pass through here to go dive outside the channel. There's some mooring lines out there that you tie up. And the next thing is, forgot to mention, all the boats that you're seeing there, they're all tied up on mooring line because you're not allowed to throw anchor here.
You cannot throw an anchor here in Hol Chan.
No, you're not allowed. It's against policy because it has its, you know, hooking up on the rock and it has its own, you know, killing the corals and all of that. So we just plant mooring lines and we tie up and then makes it safer too as well. Yeah. But
so where we are right now, and the water is deep. So we're just seeing blue water here, well, deep green, turquoise water.
Yeah, turquoise.
So a diver may be passing on us right now if heading out. Or?
Yeah, most definitely. I saw one just now past us while I was explaining about the channel. But there are divers down there. There's 2 literally right over here down in the bottom part. See where the bubbles are coming out? Okay. Yeah. There's 2 of them right there. So, yeah.
When you dive like this, an instructor will go with you, right? Or somebody of experience that knows what they're doing. So you don't just be diving on your own.
Yeah, most definitely. Like I said, the spot requires a professional dive master if diving, tour guide if touring, right? But definitely has to go with you. If not, yeah, you might get lost down there. It might be a narrow channel, but with the current line, you can get lost. It takes you outside the reef, and then now you're in an open ocean, right? You're not beneath the reef anymore. So you're there by your own if somebody knows you when you get stuck out. Yeah. Right. So yeah, but it has its little tricks to it. So. Yeah.
So when you do a tour, you account for each person on the tour, right? So you don't move away unless you have everybody accounted for properly.
We do the tour the most professional way possible. We always would have a backup. If I have a group of 8 for one tour guide, we have a backup. We always have somebody back there looking after everybody. But then it has part to do of your training and everything to do about have the people in your hands now, your safety, right? To have them safe. So most definitely, you're not just going to be having your head in the water, swimming away from them. No, you're going to be looking after them, keep them close to you. The way I do my tour, I keep them close to me. I point out the fishes, name the fishes. I educate them about the ocean. That's what a tour guide is all about, educating people about the ocean. So I would name the fishes, what they're looking at, The corals too, I would explain to them the corals, explain to them which fish is most important to the reef, like the parrotfish and the blue tang. They eat dead coral, so if a coral is dying, they would eat the coral, the dead part, so it doesn't spread like a cancer. And then if it's growing algae on it, then you got the small little blue tangs which travels in hundreds. They will just go and attack the coral and eat all the algae, so the algae can see sunlight again. So the reef has its own way of, its own dynamics of how to protect itself. God put, and Mother Nature put everything together for, for themselves. But it's the reef, right now the reef, we're known as the largest living coral reef in the world, the second largest reef in the world, yeah. The second largest, the first one is Australia's, yeah.
But the largest living.
But the largest living, is exactly. So that's the difference, right? When I say the largest living, right? But the second largest. See some divers right there? Yeah. Yeah.
I can see them indeed. There they go. All right.
Now, like these ones, since they're way up there going out, you can know that they're first-time divers, right?
How could you tell?
Because they're starting in the shallow on the edge, right? So if they were professional divers, they will be straight in the middle, straight down to the deep. Okay. So you start off shallow, then you just work your way slowly down in the edge. Because the deep starts in the middle of the marine park, right? The edge starts shallower. So these ones are fresh ones.
Our team travels to Shark Alley when we come back. We take a break to hear from our partners, Shell Belize, the Barry, the National Gas Company, and Belize Natural Energy Charitable Trust.
We are the Barry, offering you great products, good service, and of course, the lowest prices in the entire country. Visit us in Belize City, Belmopan, San Pedro, Orange, and now in San Pedro, La Isla Bonita. The Barry. Get more? Be less.
Since 2008, the Belize Natural Energy Charitable Trust has created opportunities for Belizeans to develop themselves and their communities. The trust employs tools that are intuitive, collaborative, and accessible so that every Belizean is empowered to achieve their full potential. Over 200,000 Belizeans have been impacted because of our various initiatives. The Belize Natural Energy Charitable Trust, empowering Belizeans of today to create the Belize of tomorrow. Shell V-Power, with 3 times more cleaning and friction-reducing molecules. Go well. Go Shell.
But what is the National Gas Company really? And how does it acquire transparently priced supplies of liquefied petroleum gas for the people of this country?
First of all, there was a new law written to regulate the National Gas Company. The process starts with open and transparent tendering, where LPG companies, Belizean or foreign, can compete to supply the country of Belize with liquefied petroleum gas. Once the supply agreement has been concluded and delivery details agreed, marine gas carriers arrive to offload well over 1 million gallons of LPG on a single stop. Prior to offloading the ship, LPG is quality checked by an independent fuel auditing third party to ensure that the quality being received is acceptable for use in the country of Belize. With the modern storage infrastructure installed by the National Gas Company, Belize has more than 1.6 million gallons of LPG storage available. This volume provides the country more than the monthly national consumption, thereby providing a crucial buffer in this era of climate change and supply disruptions. The National Gas Company of Belize, fueling Belize forward.
It don't matter what part of the jewel they come from.
How old can you can be to learn to dive?
Well,
At what age is the cutoff age?
you can start as young as 10 years old.
And cutoff at?
Cut off when you can't walk no more.
So even an older person like me would teach you that?
I have seen people that I think that they would not do this. I'm like, when will they quit? And they have the energy, the strength, because once you're down there, you're not working as much unless there's current. Yeah, once you go down there, I mean, the tanks are heavy. Everything is heavy, but once in the water, you can inflate your BCD, which is the thing that you strap on. And then you're afloat pretty much, and then you put on weights so you control your buoyancy down there, right? So you don't have no weight on you, I mean, basically, so it doesn't have an age to it, right? So basically you can go at any age, as long as you could walk, like I said.
What are some of the types of fish we see here? I know you mentioned snappers and jacks, and what are some of the other varieties?
Well, let me name as much as them as I can.
As you could, right here at Hol Chan.
Right here at Hol Chan. So we got, when we start off, you see some sergeant majors. Right? Sergeant major.
Well, sergeant major.
Those are some little ones that have yellow with the black stripes.
Yellow and black stripes, yeah.
Exactly. You know a little bit about fish. So some sergeant major, right? Then you got some Bermudan chub. Those you find them gray, little chubby. They can be black with white spots too. They can change color, bear in mind. Most fishes change color. You look at it 1 minute, it's gray. You look at it the next time, it's black, right? So going along, you would see like some, some parrotfish. They have the spotlight parrotfish, the red spotlight parrotfish. They got the rainbow spotlight parrotfish, or just the pale, the pale black and white spotlight parrotfish, right? A lot of those. The better ones to see, you can almost see the garlic and butter dripping off, is the hogfish. Yeah, the hogfish, a lot of hogfish around here. Snappers, black snappers, the red snappers, mutton, schoolmaster, the mangrove snappers, silk lane, different varieties of snapper. You got at least like 12 in the snapper family. Blue striped grunt, definitely see a lot of those. Black margate, grunt too in the grunt family, right? Butterfly fish, small ones. The four-eyed to the banded to the striped butterfly fish, right? Then going there, you can see some blue-headed wrasse, some yellow-headed wrasse, which is some small little blue, like, tank fish. Some beautiful fish, right? Then in here, you might also see spotted eagle rays, southern stingrays, some nurse sharks hanging around, right? Some moray eel. Those ones have their own little zone that they hang out at, right? So those are most of the marine life's horseye jack. A lot of them hang here too. Some barracudas, right? So those are some of the fish that would be hanging around here. Those you will guarantee to almost every day seeing them, right?
When you go to Shark Ray Alley now, you'll see most of the sharks and rays.
Well, Shark Ray Alley is called, it's Shark and Ray Alley. But the rays, like I said, some of them migrated. They migrated, and some of them, the bull sharks comes in and takes them away, right? The bull shark, they come in and take a few of them away. I've seen that face by seen that by myself. So but sharks now, there you will see a lot of horseye jacks too. They're in the tuna family. Yeah, they can get anywhere from 3 to 4 feet big right now that we're going to see right now. So those, the blue tangs and some snappers. Remember I said the blue tangs are most important to the reef too. So we'll see a lot of those too.
Okay, so you think we know from here to Shark Ray Alley?
Yeah.
That's what you'll do?
From here we checked out the spot, and we'll pass and let you guys get a view of the park ranger, so if anybody else comes and visit, they know exactly who to go and check with, right? So the park ranger is here, but to get your tickets to go to Hol Chan, because it's a park fee, right, for the tickets. So like for the tourists, it's 10 US, right, per person.
10 US per person per tourist. And Belizean?
Belizean, they only 10 Belize they pay, half price, right? So and it's a beautiful spot to bring your kids, to bring your family on a weekend. I mean, and then just remember, you gotta always take precautions first, safety first, right? Safety first, meaning wearing a life jacket, strap it around the waist, or not around the neck. That's how we wear life jackets different. We put it around the waist, so in that way, once we're flat snorkeling, it's afloat. Now, once you want to relax, it comes under your armpit, and then you're good relaxed. Yeah. So yes, man. All
right.
So we go to Shark Ray Alley. Then let's head out to Shark Ray since
Captain Roberto is saying.
Captain Roberto, what you doing, buddy?
We have arrived at Shark Ray Alley, and we are Russell. you're feeding the fish, right? This is a usual habit that people do, so we can get a good idea of what's happening. These are nurse sharks. All these sharks we're looking at here are nurse sharks. And you can see that apparently they're already used to you, so they knew you were coming, so they came out to greet you, right?
Yeah, so what we're looking at is these are nurse shark bottom feeder. If you take a closer look, you will see some long things by their mouth. Those are feelers. I said earlier that these are scavengers of the ocean. They're bottom feeders. But these ones are used to humans. People snorkel all around them, right? And the faster fish you're seeing there, those are horse-eye jacks. They're in the tuna family. Now, let me tell you how this shark actually came about, right? Now, Hol Chan was, because of the channel being, the closest to to spawning and stuff. Shark Alley started with the fishermen back in the days in San Pedro, like my 4th generation in San Pedro fishermen, my great-great-grandfather, right? Yeah. So they would come in this specific area. Once they do their catch for the day, you would all find all fishermen throwing their anchor cleaning their catch of the day. They would do that because then you don't want fish to be drifting on the shore and the entire island smelling like fish, spoiled fish, right? Yeah. So, there's one stingray down there. Yeah. So that's how Shark Alley came about, because fishermen would just be land up here, cleaning their catch of the day. Then the sharks started gathering around, and then as generation continues, it's still like a traditional thing for either the fishermen. Now it comes to the tour guides. It's a traditional thing for us now, right? So friendly sharks, we can get anywhere up to 30 to 40 of them that lives here. Right, so these are residents for this specific area.
And if you throw a piece of bait right now, they will just come around, right?
Yeah, they will come around, but then you see, because right now there's a lot of people visiting the area.
They have a lot of food.
Yeah, they have a lot of food. So they start with us, and then they hear one next boat pull up, and then they they go to that next boat. They say, let's see if he got more food.
So they know how to greet you.
Yeah, they're spoiled. They're spoiled. That's why in the pandemic they got skinny, because then they're used to people feeding them. So those are the horse-eye jacks and the black snappers that we're seeing right now. They're running for the bait. There comes another one, nurse shark. So he stayed around. But so that's their little history right there.
So when another boat comes up, they leave your boat and go towards that other boat. Just like how they came towards ours when we arrived.
That's why I always tell my tourists, like for instance, if I bring tourists, I would brief them while coming here and tell them, guys, you know what, get ready, put on your fins and mask one time, because once we tie up on the mooring line, we feed them. That's when you get to see them and enjoy them, because if another boat pulls up, they just go to the other boat. So that's their little, tricky, petty nature.
They're well trained. You guys
they're well trained. That's
them very well.
That's what I say. We got sharks and for our pets. They're well trained. So, and then they're big too. You see how size of them?
Yes. What would you say to the tourists who would say, I don't want to get into the water with sharks? I mean, because there's all this this fright or people afraid for sharks.
To get people more comfortable is whatever they see in TV is what make them scared. So I would always tell my people, you guys see Jaws, and then you feel like all sharks are dangerous. Then you got to let them get to understand that these sharks are friendly sharks. We're not invading their space. They grow up with us, right? We feed them, we play with them, we pet them if they want. They're not dangerous. They won't come and bite you. You snorkeling, you drift inside the entire pack of them, and then they will just left themselves, But and plus coming to the fact that they're a bottom feeder type shark, right? But they would scavenge. There's scavenge for carcass, but now that we feed them and get them into this, they're just like a boat hop. They go from one boat to the next boat, and so I would always tell my guests, and if they don't feel comfortable, I would jump in and go in between the sharks just so they can see that the friendliness of the sharks. All right. So I would always try my best to let them get comfortable, though. And at the end of the day, they feel satisfying enough that they would trust me enough to get into the water with them.
And Shark Alley is between Kikaka and San Pedro.
Yeah, almost right in the middle. More or less right in the middle, almost. Right in the middle, yeah. Almost right in the middle of that. They're just like 12 miles away from tip to tip, Kikaka and San Pedro. Yeah, so it's not that far. So you're visiting, if you're staying at Kikaka, you just come over by boat, few minutes away, 20 minutes away, you're at Shark and Reale if you're at Peacocker visiting for the weekend. Yeah.
Well, I certainly enjoyed my visit here, and it's not over yet because I want to get into the water.
Well, most definitely. We already showed Hol Chan Marine Reserve. Now at the sharks, let me show you how friendly the sharks are. We're going to jump in. So from here, thanks for joining the tour. Hol Chan, Shark Alley, and visiting to San Pedro.
If I want to do a Belize adventure tour, how do I contact you guys?
Contact actiondivers.com, right? You just Google Action Divers, sanpedro.com, and then we will pop up there. Then you can contact us.
actiondivers.com. All right, actiondivers.com. Let's get it correct. actiondivers.com.
Yes.
That's where you contact,
Yes,
right? And then you can look for
Russell or Roberto.
and Roberto.
Yes, Russell Rubio or Roberto Castillo.
Okay.
And then we'll definitely bring you to have the experience of your life. You won't be scared. By the time you leave us, you'll be a professional snorkeler, professional diver, and you will be 6 foot tall and bulletproof with the sharks.
Okay.
Just like you.
All right.
Just like you're about to be right now.
Exactly. So let's go.
All right, let's do that.
Let's just do it. Let's go. Let's go.
We're going to put on our gears first.
Yes.
We'll put on
Oh,
our
yes.
snorkel gears.
You're right.
Yeah,
I was about.
jump in. You don't jump into a shark's mouth.
So I don't jump like this.
No. No, we got
Maybe I
to
gotta change something and
Put on your
something
swimsuit,
better.
yes, correct. A nice little swim pants and
Oh, yeah?
shirt and
Okay, so if I
your fins and mask. If you jump in like that, you're not going to see nothing.
okay.
Yeah, we need the fins and mask. then we're going to be good.
Let's do it.
All right, then. Let's go
right.
then.
Jump and shout all over the nation. We're breaking out with a new creation. It's been too long, we've got to unite now. Time and space can't keep us apart right now. Unity, yes, you better know. It's the only way to go. We stay apart, then we'll have to fall. We count on you.
Well, Russell, again, let me thank you so much for the experience that we have had today,
Most
right?
definitely.
You and Roberto, right?
definitely.
I certainly enjoyed coming out to Hol Chan and then coming on to Shark Ray Alley,
Yeah.
and the swim with the sharks and the
Most
ray,
definitely.
for sure.
See how easy it was that I was saying? See how comfortable you were with
Well,
the
it's all
sharks
about
and the
love, you
rays?
know.
And understanding about the marine life.
It's all about
Once
love.
you understood it, and then you get it. You did it good. You
Yeah.
did it easy.
Yes, it's all
Yeah.
about love, right?
Yes, man. Definitely, man. Definitely. Thank you for visiting. It was nice having you. You're a pro now.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you for choosing love.
Definitely. Always.
That's what we say to Belize and beyond. Thanks for choosing love. Belize Watch. Knowledge of the past, impacting the present, building the future.
Celebration time. It don't matter what part of the jewel you come from. You that you.